Despite the release of the iPhone 14 and the Google Pixel series, the S22 range from Samsung is still a dominating force. So today we're going to look at the best cases you can get for the S22 Ultra. Before we get into things, if you'd like to get your hands on any of today's offerings, you can find the links in the description below. Okay, so let's kick things off with the official Samsung clear standing case. The very first thing you'll notice about this case is that from the moment you take it out the box, it feels solid. With a lot of clear cases nowadays, you often get a gel feel that not many people are wowed by. This case feels rigid and somewhat between gel and plastic. The holding experience is overall very nice. It feels chunky and sturdy. And when you place it on your phone, the phone just feels safe. Once the case is on the phone, it really elevates things. In my opinion, the S22 Ultra is a great looking phone. So this case does nothing but highlight that. The next thing we need to talk about is the kickstand. Let me tell you, this is one of the strongest feeling stands on a phone case that I've come across. The stand itself is metal, but one of my issues is that it doesn't actually sit flush with the back of the case. Finally, we move on to the buttons on the phone. Honestly, I'm not taken with the feel of them. On the whole though, I love this case. Samsung never disappoints, and they certainly did not here. The second case for the S22 Ultra I wanted to show you is this carbon fibre protective case from Elixir. I don't know what it is, but there's something just so pleasurable about this case. When taking it out the box and laying your eyes on that carbon fibre style casing, it just looks classy. The initial feel of the case is very pleasurable. The difference between the non-textured sides of the case and the carbon fibre style backing gives the case a really nice feeling overall. When I put this case on the S22 Ultra, holding the phone is a new experience. Firstly, you feel like the grip is a little bit tighter on the phone, and that's thanks to the material moulding of the case. Next, when you put your phone down, it just really catches the eye in my opinion. If we take a look closely at the corners of the case, we can see that there's a reinforced protective corner that protrudes a tiny amount. We can also see that Elixir took time creating a bezel that not only protects the cameras, but also sits level with the corner bumper, so there's no rocking around when your phone is flat on the table. Finally, we of course come to the buttons. Again, they feel okay, they're pretty responsive, but overall nothing to shout about. The big picture though is that the case is wonderful and a great all-round choice. Before we head into the middle case in today's video, consider subscribing. After all, you wouldn't want to miss out on any of the upcoming tech, would you? I thought I'd save the colourful entries until last, and for number 3, introduce the Spigen Tough Armour case for the S22 Ultra. For those regulars to the channel, you will all know how much I personally love Spigen cases, and this is no exception. Out of all the cases featured today, Spigen just has the best feel when you take it out of the box. When you get your hands around it, it feels and looks extremely high quality. The Spigen case has dual layers, and the feel is something that needs to be experienced. Even holding the Spigen case without a phone inside is an experience. Before we see how it looks on the phone, we should take a look at this yellow padding inside. The padding is air cushion technology that adds yet another layer of protection to the Spigen case. Now, when we place the case onto our phone, your phone instantly feels like it has a new lease of life and has a brand new style as well. Looking closely, we can again see reinforced corners, a precisely engineered divide between the layers to enhance grip, and we should also mention the kickstand on the back. The first positives, the stand is small, easy to use, and most importantly, when not in use, it sits flush with the back of the phone. It does have one downfall though, and that is the rigidity. The stand itself, compared to the Samsung one for example, feels very weak. But to be honest, it's better than resting your phone on a train or aeroplane table. Now, as you're probably expecting, the buttons. I love these buttons. They're big and chunky, but are never intrusive. The Spigen case is definitely one of my top choices from today's selection. As our fourth entry today, I wanted to show you the mint green silicone soft case, again by Elixir. I chose this case because I was really surprised with how great it looks and feels. Out of the box, you lay your hands on this case and you get something that's soft to the touch, but yet feels rigid and fairly tough. On the inside of the case, Elixir have chosen to introduce a velvet-like cloth texture, which protects your phone from any impurities that may find their way in. When placing the case on, again, it looks brilliant. And to my shock, it's one of the most protective feeling cases on today's list. The camera again has a bezel, but unfortunately there's no compensation on the corners of the phone, so it can rock very slightly when it is on a flat surface. The overall profile of the case is very nice, and again, it doesn't really feel like you're going to drop it. The buttons are as you would come to expect with a silicone case, but overall a top job by Elixir as they are still fairly clicky. So last but not least is the OtterBox Symmetry case in purple. As we have previously, we'll start with the out-of-box experience. And well, the OtterBox certainly has a different feel to the rest of the cases on today's list. First, you're taken back by the stunning look of this case. The OtterBox case has a two-tone lilac and purple finish. The feel of this case can only be described as hefty. The case really does feel solid. You may be fooled into thinking this phone case lacks grip. Well, it's actually quite the opposite. Looking carefully, we can see there's a subtle texture on the lilac of the case, and this really enhances the feel and grip of it. OtterBox have also done a great job in adding a bevel reduction for the cameras. The design here is quite wondrous. However, this case does come with one issue: the buttons. The buttons on this case are pretty stiff, so you need to give them a push with a little bit more force than usual. Aside from that though, I would say this case is pretty much perfect. It's designed well, it's dual layered, and looks absolutely wonderful in my opinion. So if you're looking for something that protects and looks great, you should definitely choose the OtterBox. I've been Mark, and I'll see you in the next video.